It's a wonder how not enough braille is on dog food and products, considering majority of the blind visually impaired have seeing-eye dogs. The Fast and Furious movie saga is the high-budget version of the and then stories children tell. A Viking could have excavated a Trek's skull and claimed to have slain a dragon and no one would doubt it at all. Finding gray hair is a sign of youth. Older people don't have to find it, it's just there. For squirrels, power lines are mysterious superhighways that were built by advanced giant apes for unfathomable purposes. Rappers just do that thing where you replay an argument in your head to make yourself sound cooler. The reason most people buy new phones is not because they want a new phone, it's because they need a new phone battery. "Let's sit for 2 minutes" is possibly the most ignored instruction among microwave users. 10,000 years ago, 2 cavemen were definitely sitting around complaining about salt. The younger generation of cavemen were for cooking their food. There is probably a direct correlation between nostril size and index finger size because it is always a perfect fit. There might be less road rage if we had an "I'm sorry" gesture as recognizable as the middle finger. A Goofy movie is probably the most famous film about a single father and his kid. The older you get, the more likely you are to enjoy the lettuce and tomato on a hamburger. Respecting your elders only made sense in the past when people had to be smart, wise and talented enough to survive into old age. The answer to the question "what did we do to deserve dogs?" is we genetically modified them to love us over thousands of years. People ask when you're going to have children like it's a side quest in life and not a 160,000+ hour mission you can't pause. It's entirely possible that people don't put unwanted cats in boxes on the side of the road and instead they just put out an empty box that a bunch of stray cats in the area just came to sit in it. 2 common unicorn myths are that they sparkle and that they are so pure that consuming a unicorn curses you and you may die. Unicorns are probably radioactive. Suddenly remembering that you don't work tomorrow is one of the greatest joy in life. The fact that lucid dreaming is hard to master is probably good, otherwise it would have turned into an unhealthy coping mechanism. Death is paradox, it makes everything meaningless while it also gives meaning to everything. No matter what country you're from, how you identify yourself or what you believe in, you've tried to move objects with your mind before. If you live long enough you will end up loving the things you hated when you were young, like afternoon naps and being spanked. Millennials' free exposure is the boomers' unpaid internship. 2 people can have an altercation on the internet, then the next moment walk by each other, sit next to each other in public without ever knowing, even have a friendly interaction. It's getting to the point where there are so many streaming services, we almost need something like a paper that tells what is on each channel, like a guide for the television. If humans had gills and were primarily aquatic, they would still go to the beach for vacation. "In a minute" is probably one of the most common lies ever told. Somehow grass managed to cover the entire earth, but can't cover that one spot in your yard. If ghosts really exist and can kill you the first few seconds after they do, will be really awkward for all involved. Future actors will have enough childhood footage on the internet that they'll be able to deepfake their childhood faces on childhood actors for flashback scenes. People will swim in the ocean, even though there are definitely many corpses in it. People will not swim in a pool with a corpse in it. Humans all have a corpse-water ratio that is acceptable for them to swim in. If a sequel to a movie doesn't have the screenwriters or directors of the first movie in it, it's basically just a high-budget fanfiction. Online gaming is the only place as an adult you can talk shit to a child and no one does anything. Old TV static was a lot scarier for horror movies than HDMI 1 not connected. A 19-year-old with the self-awareness not to have a baby would probably take better care of a baby than a 19-year-old with a baby. If you can touch your door while on the loo, you're probably not rich. Once you finish school, life changes from a linear to an open-world game. Our lives revolve around sleep. You spend half your life sleeping, want a nice house for a place to sleep, nice PJs, and literally will go insane if you do not sleep. But people who need more sleep or enjoy sleep are considered lazy. Until trains were invented in 1804, every human who ever lived that experienced a speed upwards of 56 miles per hour, was falling to their death. Graveyards are probably the least likely place to be haunted because realistically none of the people buried die there. Santa Claus knows exactly where all the evil people are in the world but doesn't do anything about it. Quiz shows have lots of questions about celebrities and movies to make people who watch TV all day feel smart and keep watching. Dozing off while watching something is no different from bedtime stories. The average pet in the Western world has a better life than the average human 200 years ago. The generation that created the internet is the generation that is the most out of touch with the internet. If you can't acknowledge the fact that you were stupid as a kid, you're probably still stupid as an adult. James Bond is always doing amazing feats in tailored suits. It's amazing to think of what he'd be able to accomplish as athletic wear, designed for the specific extreme activity he was involved in. Gates and Bezos could marry and become by far the richest couple. Every hollow chocolate bunny is carrying a pocket of air from somewhere else in the world. A delivery company's only job is to deliver your stuff, yet somehow they're one of the only businesses who can use "whoops, sorry we lost it" as a commonly accepted excuse. There's a generation of children who will discover all the terrible things their parents wrote online. Headphones are drinking straws for audio. Jell-O starts out as a fun, innocent treat for kids, then it goes through crazy college party years, and eventually ends up in hospitals and cold folks' homes. If Pinocchio were real, he would likely be stolen and used as an infinite source of free wood. Having the house to yourself as a teenager is equally as exciting for a grown adult with kids' spouse. It doesn't matter how calm and relaxing the sound of your alarm is, you'll eventually end up hating it. The dodo is extinct because it was flightless and delicious. The chicken is the most populous bird in the world for the same reasons. A duck army is an army, a navy and an air force combined. It's pretty fortunate that we were able to get everyone to agree on what color the surrender flag is. The more pixelated something looks, the less pixels it has. There could be a viral video of you doing something random with millions of views and you have no idea because you haven't seen it. To normal people, a 95% chance seems certain. To tabletop players, it is still a cause for anxiety. It's surprising how you never really see famous singers have a sneeze attack in the middle of a song. There are probably people thinking they adopted a stray cat, while the actual owners are anxiously waiting for their pet's return. If vampires announced themselves to the world, there'd be enough groupies willing to give up their blood that they'd never have to hunt again. We're all probably born with an instinctual knowledge that we're only allowed to ask someone to repeat themselves 3 times, followed up with a nod of pretend understanding. Doing nothing all day seems nice until you've actually done nothing all day and then wish you had. Glasses require your ears and your nose to do your eyes a favor. The "if a tree falls in the forest with no one around to hear it" question is a good lesson that just because you haven't experienced something doesn't negate its existence. Spelling is actually like casting a spell. By adding each letter, we are bringing that word into existence, giving it life, meaning, and influence. Dogs must be so confused about fire alarms. A loud noise suddenly beginning and the humans dropping everything to begin wafting the ceiling in some weird ritual dance. Must be so weird for them. Your eyes are never actually off. All you do is use eyelids as curtains, but your eyes are always seeing.